Hey, good evening. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Christine Devine.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Phil Schuman. Marla Tejas has the night off, and tonight a follow-up to an ongoing story. But the first part of this you saw here on Fox 11 last night, a homeless woman living literally inside a storm drain in South Los Angeles.
Well, tonight that same drain is now a hazmat zone. What we're finding is even more troubling. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live again on the ground with new developments. Matthew.
Yeah, Christine, Phil, they're actually calling this a hot zone tonight, so the public is not allowed within 100 feet, which just makes you think back that there was someone sleeping here as early as just a few hours ago. Mike will show you what it looks like tonight. We've been seeing the sanitation crews going in and out of that storm drain. They had some sort of suction device, and they were pulling out all of that human waste and trash and debris. You can actually see someone in there right now still clearing it out. They've been out here for the better part of at least 3 or 4 hours at this point. Now, we did see firefighters come, this is after our story last night, and offer that homeless person some sort of help, but she just kind of kept walking and seemed kind of lost. We aren't exactly sure of her mental state tonight, but again, we also we were alerted of another situation about 3 miles north of here. Neighbors there also complaining of homeless encampments and then more people living in another storm drain. What do you see?
They just go inside there, they just pop that lid and they go inside, spend the night right there. In the morning they come out and, I guess they have beds over there and everything.
It's pretty complex. How long has this been going on?
Oh man, I don't know. It's been quite a while though.
You feel like the city does anything?
They come and clean, but it's not just that, they like I said, they clean one side, they move to the other side, and then they go back. There's no point of them to come if they're not gonna do anything else,
So we did get a statement from Mayor Bass's office saying that resources were offered to those impacted by this cleanup here, calling it tragic, and says that it's a tough challenge that Mayor Bass has been facing and relatively ignored, is what her spokesperson is saying, for decades. But again, the cleanup here tonight continues, and it's just unbelievable to think back to what we saw out here yesterday and realizing that it's such a hazmat situation, we're not even allowed within 100 feet. Reporting live tonight in South LA, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
So we don't know what happened with that one woman, but just to give our viewers some perspective, there's like 44,000 homeless people in the city, 72,000 in the county. And yes, Mayor Bass and others take credit for the numbers slightly decreasing over the past couple of years, but these situations just go on, right, Matthew? You've done many of these stories.
Yeah, and there actually was a cleanup here, I believe, in September, and the city came in. They put this fence up with all these boulders to try to prevent the homeless from camping out here.
Right.
And clearly, if you look around this area, there's encampments everywhere. There's RVs. The homeless just keep coming back.
So, Matthew, I know you're scrambling to get the story on the air for the 8 o'clock. You'll have more later tonight. I do urge our viewers, if you want to know more about this story that you broke last night, to look at the story online, foxla.com, that you had last night, and get a better picture of that hole, where you can see in that slot there that there are at least one, maybe two workers in there. So I don't know if you saw how they got in there. Did they drop down the manhole, I guess, of that storm drain, just like the woman who popped out in your video?
Yeah, pretty much. Essentially there's a ladder that'll take you right inside, and you can see them right now still kind of scraping away all of the gunk that was pulled out. But definitely a gnarly job that these sanitation workers are tasked with right now. We see a lot of them wearing masks, and there's almost like this cloud of debris in the air and a smell. Not quite as bad as what we were experiencing yesterday right along that storm drain, but it's still pretty noticeable out here.
And nothing was done until the news exposes it and focuses the spotlight on this. All right, Matthew, thanks for that reporting. We'll follow up.
New at 8, a daring escape in North Hills. Police say 2 young girls managed to break free and run for help after being kidnapped in broad daylight. Now detectives are on a manhunt for the suspect, who remains at large tonight.
Fox 11's Laura Diaz live in North Hills in the San Fernando Valley with the latest on the search. Laura?
Yes, the LAPD just releasing a composite sketch of that assailant who they describe as a predator. I can tell you this, it took place on The 15th of this month, the girls were on foot at Nordhoff in Sepulveda when a man pulled up in a car, a young man in his 20s, and asked them if they wanted a ride. Initially, they said no. About a block and a half later, he approached them again, and they made a dangerous decision. They said yes, they would accept the ride. The police pick it up from there.
They look much younger, so it's serious. This person is dangerous. He's a predator. He's targeting young females. They got into the vehicle. The older girl told the driver where their intended destination was, and the suspect was supposed to make a right turn on Columbus to travel southbound from Nordhoff, but the suspect continued east on Nordhoff, where he locked the car doors, and then began to expose himself and made a lewd request of the girls. Accelerated while they were both still in the car. Both girls jumped out of the vehicle and tumbled onto the street and received some minor abrasions to their legs.
They were very lucky to get out of that car. It's still unclear how they got out with the doors being locked, but they found a way. It's Sunday afternoon, March 15th, daylight. The girls are just 16 and 11 years old. Police say that they look much younger than their years. Now, the LAPD is asking for your help locating that suspect. He remains at large. He's described as early 20s, Hispanic, dark hair and dark eyes, tattoos on both arms. He's driving a dark green Honda Civic. If you have information, we've got a number on the screen that you can call. It's 1-800-222-8477. But a harrowing tale. These girls lived to tell about it, but somehow they managed to get out of that moving vehicle and they were able to call and get help. It still remains unclear. They made the sound decision the first time, did not accept a ride, but the second time, about a block and a half later, they said, yes, we'll accept the lift, and we know where it went from there. Truly a terrifying tale for these young girls to tell, but they are safe tonight and still remain scared, as you can imagine. I'm Laura Diaz reporting live, sending it back to the studio. Christine and Phil.
Laura, I don't know if you have any more specifics as to what this person said to them or how this person encouraged them to take that lift, as you say, because it sounds so very scary to get in a stranger's car. And we hear of this with ways people lure somebody in. I'm wondering if you have any more insight on that.
Well, no, I asked the investigator that numerous times. He said that the girls really couldn't give a good answer. It just seemed as though it was a moment of vulnerability. And of course, you know, we're taught this as women and specifically as young girls. You don't want to be put in a vulnerable position. The investigator reminds all of us, he says, look, there is no reason for an adult man to be going up to a girl for sure, or even a woman. No one needs to ask for directions. They don't need to engage you in conversation. We all can get onto our phones and pop in GPS and find directions somewhere. So if someone tries to engage you in conversation, he suggests that you go to a public area, to a store perhaps, or if there is a police department close by, but do not engage that person, and certainly do not get into a vehicle.
Yeah. Glad they're okay.
Thank you, Laura. Cesar Chavez, lauded, of course, as a leader of the Farm Workers Union for decades, his work not just taught in schools, but his name placed on so many buildings, institutions. No more. Today, LA Unified, the school board members, became the latest to vote to rename schools and remove his name from institutions after the accusations of sexual abuse by Chavez. Fox 11's Nick Garcia tells us what happened.
Yes.
Okay, that's 7 ayes.
Striking the name of Cesar Chavez from LAUSD buildings. Tuesday, the school board voted unanimously to recognize March 31st as Farm Workers Day instead of Cesar Chavez Day, and to begin the process of stripping the labor leader's name from 2 school campuses.
We know it was not just one person who led this movement, but it was a collective effort among thousands of farm workers and allies, other folks who stood up for the rights of farm workers and the rights of all people.
An elementary school in El Sereno and a high school campus in San Fernando are named for Chavez and will carry that name through the end of the school year.
Typically that can take years, but we're going to do it on an expedited timeline, just recognizing that the continued presence of that name on our schools is contrary to our values and could be very triggering.
It's been the talk around campus since last week when shocking sexual abuse allegations against Chavez came out. Many students supporting a name change.
I think that we should probably change the name due to how much stuff he did.
This student says it's all moving too quickly.
I honestly think it's a little unfair how he's getting accused of being a rapist.
The board also voted to support training for students and staff to protect against sexual abuse. As for selecting new names, the local communities surrounding the schools will have a voice, along with staff, students, and their families.
I would be excited if Dolores Huerta were the name, but I also think that there are many people from our community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley who could also be worthy of honoring via school names.
Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
A nice look outside on this Tuesday. Let's talk about the week and the weather ahead with meteorologist Marquina Brown.
Hey there, Christine, Phil. Good to be here. Let's talk about what we should expect as we go throughout the course of the night, shall we? Today, as you know, on the mild side, especially for a March day. Temperatures were above average. Outside right now, still very nice. We've got 70s out there. At this hour, we take you to places like Glendora, and they are in the upper 70s. We've got upper 60s in Burbank, LA at 64, 75 for you in Whittier. And if you are in the Diamond Bar / Chino area, you're looking at temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Going throughout the course of the night in LA, not a lot of movement in the temperature department. We are going to slide down into the low 60s and pretty much stay there. We're going to keep a mainly clear sky outside of seeing some patchy fog develop late tonight into early tomorrow morning. We'll talk about that, but we'll bottom out lows here with numbers in the 50s. We've got 57 in Burbank for an overnight low, 57 for you in Pasadena, and low 50s in places like Victorville and also Corona. So what we'll watch out for tonight, again, outside of that mainly clear sky, is patchy fog that will start to develop. You can see the clock here, fast forwarding till about 2 in the morning. We start to see the fog come right there for the coastal areas. That will be the story through at least about 8 o'clock or so before it starts to burn off. So that is how we will start the day tomorrow. But the question is, what should you expect temperature-wise as we get into tomorrow and the end of the week, and why not even into the weekend? We'll talk about it with a 7-day forecast coming up in just a little bit. Until then, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much. Still ahead tonight in the 8 o'clock hour, 2 pilots killed in that deadly runway collision at LaGuardia Airport. The wide-ranging investigation continues.
New questions about what happened on the ground and the workload for the air traffic controller in the tower.
I'm Haley Winslow in Torrance, gearing up for Dodgers opening day on Thursday. And hey, if you've ever wanted to step into the batter's box and face these local legends, this is your chance. Firing a fast one right here off the DoubleTree Hotel. We'll tell you how you can be part of the action coming up.
man arrested on a string of violent charges, including sexual assault and kidnapping, has been released on bail. Detectives took Alexander Schechter of Santa Monica into custody Friday after linking him to a 2025 assault in L.A. and a recent kidnapping involving 2 UCLA students. This is him right here. He was released Saturday after posting bail. However, investigators do want to hear from you. If you have information, call UCLA police.
Developing news tonight, we're learning that fire truck involved in the deadly crash at LaGuardia Airport Sunday night did not have a working warning system or transponder which transmits identity and location. The NTSB confirms that the black box and cockpit reporter indicated the air traffic controller did warn the fire truck 9 seconds before the accident, said it to stop, but the truck, of course, didn't stop. And then there was the crash with the Air Canada plane that was landing, killing the 2 pilots.
We rarely, if ever, investigate a major accident where it was one failure. Our aviation system is incredibly safe because there are multiple layers of defense built in to prevent an accident. So when something goes wrong, that means many, many things went wrong.
The next phase of the investigation will be interviewing the air traffic controllers on duty inside the tower that night at the time, as well as the firefighters who incredibly survived the collision. They were inside the truck. Debris from the plane, as you can see, is still covering the runway. It's likely it'll stay closed until Friday. Now to the latest on the war with Iran, where the fighting continues despite urgent efforts to reach a peace deal. President Trump says the U.S. is talking with Tehran to end the war, but Iran says those talks are not even happening. On the ground, the situation is grim. Today, Iranian missiles hit near Tel Aviv, forcing literally millions of people to take cover in bomb shelters in that country. As the conflict grows, the U.S. is sending about 1,000 troops from the 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East in the next few days. The crisis continues to affect the global economy. At the UN, a draft resolution calls for using, quote, any means necessary, including military force, to keep the Strait of Hormuz open as fuel prices continue to rise. Here in L.A. County, regular gas now averages $5.93 a gallon, the highest since back in 2023. The OC right behind that at $5.89. The national average is $4. The biggest hit is at the diesel pump, the fuel that powers trucking, of course. Averages in both California and L.A. topped a record $7 a gallon today. And those surging shipping costs will soon hit consumers, potentially driving up the price of just about everything we buy.
Nice, Curly, they're getting beautiful. Look at this dog. Come on.
I think she's just excited. You haven't eaten for probably so long.
So cute.
New details right here on the dozens of dogs that were moved from LA shelters to ones in Chicago. Paws Chicago is taking in 42 dogs after a massive animal seizure in Lake Hughes. Tonight, the animals are now being cared for with vaccines, spay and neutering, lots of love to get them ready for adoption there.
All right, let's talk a little baseball, shall we? We're just a couple of days away from opening day. Artist Robert Vargas is ringing in the new season, as only he can. A brand new Dodgers mural in Torrance.
Yeah, he's done it again. Features the team's Japanese superstars. Fox 11's Haley Winslow spoke with the muralist.
With a drum roll and shout out to his hero.
I love you, Mom.
The big reveal.
One! Samurai of the Diamond!
Stretching 140 feet down the side of the Torrance Doubletree Hotel, local LA legend Robert Vargas's latest masterpiece. A mural of Dodgers Japanese superstars Shohei Ohtani, Roku Sasaki, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Larger than life. And it comes to life. Scan the QR code and step up to the plate, facing Japan's pitching powerhouse.
Strike one. Strike two. Strike three. And the Dodgers win again.
A hopeful preview of what fans dream of again this season.
This is literally the three-peat.
Three-peat!
Yeah. I'm painting it into existence.
Yes!
Superstitious or not, Vargas's Dodgers murals seem to be working for our back-to-back world champs. Last season, a tribute to Fernando Valenzuela, and the season before, an interactive Ohtani mural in Little Tokyo. And his work stretches far beyond LA to Ohtani's hometown, Oshu, Japan, recently named a friendship city to Torrance and home to one of the largest Japanese communities in the U.S.
More than just ball players, they're ambassadors of culture.
Top of their game, with fans rallied behind them, much like Vargas.
All of these people. This is my favorite part. They're all colors in my palette, and they're all in that mural.
Today, becoming an ambassador of his own.
The key to the city.
Don't think any Padres or Giants fans will be staying here anytime soon, but plenty of Dodgers already inside gearing up for opening day on Thursday. And hey, if you've ever wanted to face these legends, this is your chance. You just scan the QR code and watch them fire a fast one flying off this mural masterpiece. Robert Vargas already has other projects in the works, including a Dolores Huertas masterpiece that he's going to be doing right after this one. Go Dodgers! Reporting in Torrance, I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
So we had Vargas in.
Oh, he's amazing.
Right,
yeah.
before, I guess he was just starting the project. You know, he's actually bought property in Japan now. He loves it so much.
Oh, really?
He's been there to do murals there and bought property there.
Everybody that goes to Japan loves it. And, you know, reading about him, he started this when he was like 10.
Yeah, as a kid.
And then he was like maybe 15 or 16. He was already in like museums, like the Autry Museum. I mean, what a story.
Well, we had him on years ago before he blew up with his big name.
Yeah.
And he was known for sketching your portrait on the ground there on a piece of paper.
Oh, okay.
And he would do it in downtown LA too. You're walking down downtown
I think
LA
I remember
at night,
that. You
and
know,
he would sketch on the ground.
I mean, for someone who I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, so that's all amazing.
And he'd do it like in 15 minutes.
Yeah, he's amazing. All right, well, glad he's in LA. Coming up here, a new beginning for two black bear cubs rescued under, remember that controversial circumstances with the mom in Monrovia.
Well, they're now in San Diego. An update on how they're doing next.
Weather is sponsored by My Home Sold.
All right, we're looking outside. Oh, I can't believe how much it's going to cool down next week, Markina.
Yeah, you know, what a change, right? We went from way too hot to cooler temperatures, kind of where we should be this time of year. Remember, it's still March. We're going to cool those temperatures down to the 70s, and we could actually, believe it or not, See a little rain in the forecast. We'll talk about that. But today it was gorgeous. We topped out at 81 degrees, a normal high 71. Record nowhere near that today, 94 degrees after starting out at 60 degrees this morning. Taking a look at some of the current temperatures outside, we are kind of all over the place, but really just in the 60s and 70s. We've got 78 degrees right now in Glendora. Good evening if you're in Diamond Bar. You're at 66 degrees. The folks in Anaheim, Orange County, 72. And we've got low 60s from Santa Ana all the way up to Torrance and Manhattan Beach sitting at 62 degrees right now. So what will be in control of our weather over the next couple of days will be this area of high pressure that you see here. And because of it, things are going to kind of warm up a little bit. As we look at tomorrow specifically, we're looking at 70s and 80s, some low 80s for Burbank and Pasadena, upper 80s for Ontario. But when we compare that to what we'll see as we get into Thursday, you see the heat is on a little bit, right? We're in the upper 80s in places like Ontario, 90s in San Bernardino, upper 80s in Santa Clarita, and also in Palmdale. Lots of 70s along the coast there. Long Beach at 78 degrees. And again, that warm up is going to be happening because of that area of high pressure. So we've got a slight warming trend coming our way. It's going to be steady. That'll happen through the weekend. And then, as Christine said, it gets much cooler as we get into the end of the week because we've got this area of low pressure coming through. So that area of high pressure moves out, area of low pressure moves in, and we are going to see a big difference. In fact, complete pattern change because there is at least an opportunity for a little rain. So as we talk about what we're going to do tomorrow on your Wednesday, how about 82 degrees in LA and Orange County? Lots of sunshine there. Could see some AM fog, so watch out for that, especially along the coast there. 84 is what we'll do as we get into Thursday. Friday, we're at 86. We're in the upper 80s as we get into Saturday, and then look at how things kind of switch up here. In fact, big time. Beginning of the work week, starting it off, 77 degrees on Monday. Tuesday, slight chance of rain and 71. For the coast, we're doing 72 degrees tomorrow. Warming up as we get into the next couple of days. Thursday and Friday start to increase the clouds and cool down those temperatures as we get into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That is a look at what we're doing. Stick around. We'll take a look at more 7-day forecast for you, and I'll let you know what you should expect as we head toward the next 7. Guys, back to you.
58 degrees there is why I didn't put the sweaters away. Okay, right here, still ahead. Story you saw first on Fox, homeless people taking shelter in LA storm drains.
Yeah, it's quite a story. We're going to tell you what the city is planning to do about it. Plus, we have Rachel Aragon.
You may have noticed some robots roaming the streets of Whittier lately. I promise you, they are here for good reason. Coming up, we'll tell you again how they're helping improve public safety in the city.
live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
You may have spotted small robots taking over the streets of Whittier. There's a reason for that.
No, they're not delivering food. Fox 11's Rachel Aragon's live with what they are doing, trying to improve public safety, right, Rachel?
Yeah, Phil, today I learned, by the way, these robots are referred to as DACs, and we also know that they're fun to interact with, but more than that, you guys, they really are collecting data and making the city of Whittier a lot safer. Walking or driving along the streets of Whittier, you may have spotted one of these robots, but do you know what they're for?
Is this your first time seeing it?
Yeah, that was really strange. I came out to it. I wanted to see what it was. I was going to scan it too. That's really cool.
They're not delivering food, they're collecting sidewalk data and capturing people's hearts.
Yeah, I love it. So I think it's great. They're cute, so.
While some of Whittier's sidewalks are smooth, other areas are a little uneven and uplifted. That's where these DAC spots come into play. The city says these robots move at walking speed down pedestrian paths, taking measurements and keeping human crews out of traffic.
Hi Dax, how you doing? You're watching me, I can see that.
In a video posted on social media, Whittier's mayor says the city has over 400 miles of sidewalks that they want to ensure are safe for everyone. At any time, up to 6 robots are in operation, evaluating sidewalk conditions and helping the city prioritize areas that need fixing.
To measure the floors to see if there's any cracks and stuff, which is great because with the big old trees, sometimes they're there, so they're great.
The city of Whittier says the robots are semi-autonomous and remotely piloted by a human operator. But it's not just Whittier deploying DACs to measure ADA compliance. The city of Irvine announced last August they were deploying these robots to inspect curb ramps and sidewalks in public streets. No, the city tells me that no one's jobs is being lost over this. These robots are not replacing anybody here in the city. We should also add, though, the city tells me that these robots will likely be around till at least the end of April. So if you're driving around Whittier, be sure to spot them really anywhere around town. Pretty live tonight. I'm Rachel Aragon. I'll send it back to you.
You know, they would do this in the city of Los Angeles, but the robots' heads would explode.
What?
Because the sidewalks here
It might be harder,
are
right,
so
to
bad.
go through the city of LA, a little
Plus
denser.
They need like 1 million of them.
I can picture it.
Yeah.
I didn't know where you're going with that.
That's
They
where I was
absolutely
going.
would.
That's an ongoing issue, right? Sidewalk repair.
And so when do we get the data from this?
That might still be a little while, like I said, because I know that they're going to be deploying these at least through the end of April. They are doing measurements and whatnot. But what's interesting, Christine, I learned is that I thought it was just residential areas. They can be spotted all over Whittier, including commercial shopping plazas. So it's been fun to see online everywhere. They've been popping up through social media.
We need something like that for potholes. Can
Sure.
you imagine?
Yeah. Maybe you could task Waymo to do that while they're Waymowing around. All right, Rachel, thanks for the trip to Whittier. Much more dramatic and depressing and serious note. You saw this one first on Fox 11 last night, and it generated a huge reaction, as you might imagine. A woman literally living in the storm drain in South Los Angeles. After many calls to city officials, including the mayor's office, there was help sent out. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez reports.
What's your name?
Trying to help a woman hiding in a storm drain, the same woman you saw on Fox 11. Living in a hot drain packed with trash and smelling of human waste.
I gotta get back.
She's been living in the storm drain for quite some time, according to Juan Naula, who spends his days trying to clean up the neighborhood around South Grand and 88th Street.
She's still there. The trash is there. I saw another person living over there.
People living everywhere around here, in tents and RVs, even a boat. One woman sets herself up on boulders next to the freeway. A man against a sidewall on the other side. Cables routing electricity run down the street for blocks. Police cars drive by the encampments, checking things out. People say everything's fine. Police drive on. A street sweeper moves the dust. Parking enforcement deals with abandoned vehicles. But people say off camera, they're on their own. A woman talking to herself when she comes out of the drain is nothing unique.
Went into the sewer. She was living in the sewer. Oh my God, that's so bad. That's so bad.
The woman is chasing people, getting video of her with their cell phones, but goes back into the drain where we try talking to her.
Talk to me, hon. What's going on?
Hard to make out, but something about she has new clothes and shows her friends.
Some of my clothes I bought on Chavez Street was like $1,000, some like $400, and that's all my stuff I bought.
How many people are living down there with you?
I don't know. Some guy walked out.
There's another guy? If I found you a place to stay, would you go?
Yep. Sure would.
You would?
Yep.
No?
I guess I would.
Those words are very clear. After many calls to city officials, what you see is, yes, LAPD, the fire department, sanitation, quite a few crews out here. Eventually she comes out. Firefighters quickly move in to block the manhole cover. As she walks past us, she is mumbling.
And this guy was saying, I'll go home. I'll keep going.
Hard to make out what she was mumbling, but I did see people from the city trying to follow her, offer her some help. In the meantime, what's happening here is you see this sanitation here calling this a hot zone. They actually have to go in there, clean the place where she was living out, and then secure that manhole with a new one in such a way that it doesn't get stolen like the last one, and she just comes back again. In South Los Angeles, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
And more at 9 o'clock with Matthew Seedorf, who's out there live again tonight, like he was last night on that story. Our social media influencer accused of using dating apps to target wealthy men and women to steal from them has been ordered to stand trial. 28-year-old Adva Lavi, also known as Mia Ventura, was held to answer on 6 felony counts, including first-degree burglary and grand theft. Prosecutors say she used dating apps to cultivate relationships in Westlake Village, West Hollywood, and Beverly Hills, and posed as a companion to get access to their homes and steal their items. Lavi has pleaded not guilty to all charges, is out of custody with an ankle monitor. She's scheduled for arraignment next month and faces more than 11 years in prison if convicted. Tonight, a jury in New Mexico has told Meta to pay $375 million in fines. The jury said Meta misled users about safety and allowed harm, including child exploitation on its platforms. The lawsuit filed in 2023 claimed Meta cared more about making money than protecting children. Evidence included internal warnings and examples of predators using Meta's platforms. Meta says it will appeal and argues that it does work to keep users safe. An update here tonight. Look at the little 2 black bear cubs from Monrovia. They're receiving specialized care at San Diego Humane Society's Ramona Wildlife Center, and the caregivers sometimes are wearing bear suits. The cubs don't get so used to human interaction. They say it's to raise them with the best possible chance to return to the wild. They are 2 to 3 months old, and if you recall this story, their mother was deemed a threat to public safety. State wildlife officials made the decision to euthanize the mother. She was involved in 2 public safety incidents in which she scratched someone, a woman walking her dog.
All right, something very different here, Christine. When I heard about this man's plan, I said, we have to have him on. Seth Wilmot is planning to do something, as far as we know, never been done before in California at least, run 13 marathons in 13 days. The Gold Rush, it's called. Seth's an endurance athlete, a content creator, an actor, an environmentalist. Joins us live in studio to talk about what's named Project Gold Rush. Thanks for coming in. And the obvious question is, why?
Yeah, great question. I think I've lost my mind is one short answer, but more seriously, there's 3 core things. Number 1, I want to demonstrate to people that we're all a whole lot more capable than we could ever imagine. And so a challenge like this is really a testament to that personally. And then also I just want to encourage people to get outside, explore, move, whether that's running or otherwise. And then number 3 is raise money for the California State Parks through the California State Park Foundation, and just draw attention to our public lands.
So what kind of toll will this take on your body? Obviously, you're training for it. You're in great shape, but...
Yeah, it should be tough, but the last 8 months have been preparing for that. And so it's been a gradual increase in mileage, starting from about 30 miles a week, working up to 100 plus. And so in building that strong base, hopefully I'll be ready to go when April comes around and it won't be that taxing. But regardless, it'll take a toll both physically and mentally overall.
So tell us briefly what the route is.
Yeah, so it's going to start in Northern California, and we're going to snake through every single one of California's 13 Class 3 ecoregions. So we'll go the Redwoods, we'll go through Mount Lassen, we'll snake through Sacramento, Yosemite Valley, Big Sur, Big Bear, Joshua Tree, Santa Monica, skipping a few, but you kind of see the route.
And people can join in with you if they want.
Yes, so this is an opportunity for people to come out and run. It doesn't have to be a marathon.
Right.
I will be completing 26.2 miles at each one of these locations, but it's an invitation for people to just come out, run, explore the outdoors, explore our state parks, and it's completely free.
Do you think this will be tougher physically or mentally?
It's a great question. I think we'll put it to the test because right now, it depends on the week which is tougher for me. Physically, some weeks I'm super beat up, legs are tired, legs are heavy, and it takes a huge toll. But also just as tough is the mental capacity to continue to endure, to stay disciplined, to stay on top of recovery and nutrition and things like that. And that can be mentally taxing.
I mean, do you have like a medical team, a nutritionist, a trainer, a masseuse?
I wish.
Or is it just you?
Pretty much just me. I've got my Whoop band, which keeps recovery and that sort of thing and data locked in, which is super helpful. But it is sort of a self-experiment. So I'm learning, I'm adjusting things as far as nutrition, strength training, running to get things right.
I mean, did you have any doubt that you'd be able to do this? Obviously, this is sort of uncharted territory.
Yeah, that was the whole goal, is to find a challenge that I felt confident I could achieve, but still scared me a little bit. I think that that's a good sentiment that I want to share with other people is it's going to be logistically hard, it's going to be physically hard, and there's a chance that I fail, but that's what makes it exciting and hopefully draws people in and what I'm excited about.
And so for people who want to find out more about this, maybe rendezvous with you, I know we've had your Instagram, Seth Wilmoth, on the screen. What's the best way to do it? We'll also have information on our website, foxla.com. But
yeah, the best place is my socials at Seth Wilmoth on Instagram and on TikTok. There's a landing page in the bio. There, anybody can get involved. Whether you want to join a run, you can register and get information about that. If you want to donate, there's the landing page that goes directly to the California State Parks Foundation. And then if you want to get involved, which is really exciting, we still have opportunities for partners. If you want to get involved and your mission aligns with this whole project, you can contact Sarah Ballin at Key Talent Management, which is who represents me, and we can get you involved and make this thing even bigger.
Last question quickly, has your mother tried to talk you out of this, or?
Many times. Fortunately, they love athletics and endurance and stuff like that.
Well, you've been an athlete your whole life, right?
Yeah, so they're used to it by now. This isn't maybe the craziest thing that I've ever thrown out there, but we're putting it to paper. So.
All right, well, I wish you a lot of luck. Seth starts on April 20th. Again, you can follow him on social media along the way. And we're just going to say good luck, and I hope it meets all of your goals.
Appreciate that.
We'll
Thanks
check back with you for sure. All right, Seth.
Sounds great.
Christine?
I'm feeling guilty with my mere 30 minutes at the gym today. Wow, I'll step up my game. All right, coming up, we're checking in with meteorologist Martina Brown.
Good evening, Christine. We went from hot to warm. Now I'm forecasting cooler temperatures and possibly rain in the forecast. Stick around to find out when that'll happen. Coming up.
still talking about Seth and
Yes,
that
we are.
feat ahead of him.
Oh my gosh.
Second Harvest Food Bank of Orange County does a lot to help people put food on the table. When it comes to buying food, you can also get more bang for your buck.
Fox 11's Coco McAvoy went to Irvine to check that out for us.
Hey there, food insecurity is a huge topic these days, and Second Harvest Food Bank here in Orange County does everything it can to really help people when it comes to food insecurity. So I am here now with Claudia, the CEO, and you were sharing with me some really startling statistics when it comes to Orange County.
Most people are unaware that we have a food insecurity crisis in this county. The notion of affluence looms large, but right now 1 in 9 adults and 1 in 8 of our kiddos, 87,000 children, will experience food insecurity this year.
And this demonstration here on this table, it really shows us what we're up against with grocery shopping and why donations are important, right?
Exactly. That's one of the reasons that food insecurity is so high right now, is the high cost of food, right? And so a lot of people want to help, and we'll talk about ways to help, but one thing people want to do is donate. And a lot of times the question is donating food versus donating dollars. And if you look here, you see how far $25 goes at the supermarket. And we all know well right now, it doesn't go as far as it used to. But $25 donated to the food bank with our buying power goes much longer and really stretches that dollar, and we can get more good food out into the community.
Absolutely. I mean, the difference is truly vast. And Claudia, if you can talk about ways that people can be helped.
Sure. So if you're interested in learning more about the issue, you can go to our website, www.feedoc.org. You can also learn there how to volunteer here in this distribution center or at our farm, not too far from here. Or you can donate money, which is just really, really needed right now, to buy the good, nutritious food we're putting out into the community.
Because I would imagine with Second Harvest right now, you're seeing more of a need for this type of help.
We're seeing much more of a need right now, and we anticipate with policy changes that will come into effect this year, we expect the need to grow even higher.
Well, thank you so much, Claudia, for taking the time to talk to us and show us this demonstration as well. I think that really speaks to a lot of us, especially when we're at the grocery store and you can see what $25 gets you right now at the grocery store compared to a donation at Second Harvest Food Bank and what they can buy with $25 and really be able to help the community when it comes to food insecurity. I'll send it back to you.
I can't believe we're going to have this change next week. That's so drastic.
I know.
Maybe.
I know.
What do you mean, maybe?
We are going to have it, Phil.
All right.
We are going to have it.
You don't trust?
No, but when you say change, I was thinking more about like rain.
Oh, well,
it's possible.
Cooler,
Yeah.
though.
There is a small chance.
I know it's going to get cooler, but
There's a small chance that we could get some rain as well.
I'm going with cooler, though.
all right.
Yes, for sure. I'll keep you posted, Phil.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Call me later.
All right, let's talk about what we should expect as we head toward the next 24 to 48 hours. That is just pretty much what we've been seeing, what we saw today and what we're seeing now. Stability. Things aren't really going to change much in the temperature department. We go outside and we see temperatures in the mid-70s if you are in El Monte, upper 70s in Glendora, Pasadena at 63 degrees, Burbank at 69, and we've got low 70s up there for the folks in Porter Ranch. Taking a look at Futurecast, there is something for you to take note of as we look at later on tonight into tomorrow, and that is the possibility for some coastal fog. Look at that. We forward the clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. You can see the fog forming here right along the coast, and it will stick and stay through about 8 o'clock. Then after that, 8, 9 o'clock, we'll start to get some clearing. Of course, as you know, that means temperatures along the coast will be held down a little bit as you start the day with the fog. Still a nice day on tap, though, tomorrow, as we'll take a look at. As we take a look at what we're going to do tonight, not bad, not too cool. We've got numbers in the 50s. We've got 57 degrees in Pasadena tonight. LA bottoming out at upper 50s. We've got upper 50s for Santa Monica, mid 50s tonight for Woodland Hills. So over the next couple of days, we are going to stay, like I said, stable, and that will be because of this area of high pressure. It will stick around, and that means temperatures kind of warming a little bit, not drastically warmer, but warmer nonetheless. You can see that tomorrow we'll have those numbers in the 80s in lots of places here, but as I forward the clock to Thursday, slightly warmer, maybe by 2 or 3 degrees. Now things really start to change when we see that area of high pressure move up and out. See, there it goes. It will allow a system from the west to come in, and this will give us cooler temperatures. So with that is where we're going to monitor not only the cooler temperatures, Phil, but also that chance for rain. Let's take a look at what we're going to do for highs as we head towards the next few days for LA and Orange County. Again, the average high is 71 degrees. We'll be above that over the next several, even when we start to cool down through the beginning of next work week, still above that high. For the coastal areas, we're looking at a high tomorrow of 72 degrees. Remember, I pointed out how you'll start the day with the fog. This is how the temperatures will be held back because of it. 72 is all you'll do, but we're looking at numbers in the mid to upper 70s over the next few days. For the valleys and the IE, again, a gradual step up in temperatures all the way through Saturday, and then you'll start to see those temperatures decline as well. For the mountains, giving you 72 degrees tomorrow, 75 as we get into Thursday, and low 70s will be the story for you for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then things really start to change for the beginning of next work week. And for the low desert, triple-digit temperatures will be what you will see still over the next few days, and even they will see a change with that area of low pressure coming through. That disturbance will take them down from low triple digits to low 80s for temperatures. Christine, Phil, I'll send it back.
You heard it there.
You did.
You still have one of these heavy weight.
But first, here's a preview of what's coming up when I join you at 9 at dramatic rescue in Northern California. A helicopter swoops in to save 2 kayakers. Plus, the FIFA World Cup is here in Los Angeles tonight. Literally, we'll show you how to get free tickets to see the iconic trophy ahead at 9.
All right, Dodgers fans, how much is too much for opening day tickets?
Because the prices might make you do a bit of a double take. Record-breaking ticket prices for Thursday's home opener against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The average, $392 a seat on the resale market. That apparently makes it the most expensive home opener ever recorded in the MLB, according to TickPick. Also the most expensive price ever for a regular season game played at an MLB park. On Friday, there'll be another pregame ceremony where members of last year's team will be awarded their World Series rings. We'll, of course, have full opening day coverage starting with Good Day LA over on Fox 11 at 4 a.m. on Thursday. So ticket prices are what they are. The Dodgers outdraw everyone in Major League Baseball every year.
So because there's a demand,
Exactly.
they can charge the high prices.
International demand, as we know. Yeah.
Well, it's good
and
to
it's
watch
also
on
they
TV
have
too.
the
Get a
largest
closer
stadium.
up shot on TV.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you would pay. Is there a limit to what you?
It depends
The
on.
thing that's tough is like if you're a family, you know, you go to the game with your parents, your brothers, your
Then it
sisters.
really adds
gets
up.
expensive. Parking, I think is $45 this year.
Some want to spend their money on tennis shoes. Some want to do concerts. Some want to do vacations or hotels. Some want to do.
And
clothes.
look, I mean, compared to a basketball game or a football game, baseball is still a relative bargain. But you know,
I don't know. I
not to-
spend my money on clothes.
Well, you know, when we were young, or when I was young, you know, you'd go to Fenway and you'd buy bleacher seats for I think $4. Not to date myself.
I grew up in a small town, so we didn't have anything major league at all, anywhere, ever. It was easy to go to a high school football game.
Well, sporting events essentially are a
Not
special
free.
occasion. All right.
Don't go anywhere. We're not done yet.
LA Live News tonight will continue at 9, right after the break. Hope to see you there.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11.
Now, at 9, an underground crisis, living in storm drains, stealing electricity. Inland Valley's meteorologist Martina Brown with a preview of what's on the horizon.
Hey there, good evening, Phil. Warmer temperatures today, not hot, but before too long, we could see rain on this radar. We'll talk about when coming up.
And good evening, everyone. Thanks for watching. This is LA Live News Tonight. I'm Phil Schuman in for Marla Tejas. And tonight we begin with a follow-up to a shocker you saw first here on Fox 11 last night. A homeless woman living literally inside a storm drain in South LA. Tonight that area now a hazmat zone. We're not clear on what happened to that woman, but we are finding out is even more troubling. Matthew Cedar, Fox 11, broke the story last night. He's live with us with more. Matthew.
Well, Phil, tonight there's a deep cleanup underway. As you said, it's a hazmat zone. We're not allowed within 100 feet of this. But Mike will show you what it looks like. You can see the sanitation crews are still out here power washing. They've been out here for the better part, I'd say 4 or 5 hours. They were using some sort of suction device inside that hold, kind of sucking all that up. If you take a look at the video, you'll see kind of what was going on just a little while ago. Again, you can see crews out here wearing that hazmat gear, using that suction device to clear out human waste and trash that was inside that storm drain. The area is so bad, sanitation crews declared it a hot zone, keeping everyone at least 100 feet back. But you think back, there was a woman that was sleeping here until just a few hours ago, so just kind of imagine what that's like. And we did see her walk away, but without any noticeable offers of help from the city this afternoon. Now today, just a few miles north of here, we were alerted of another large homeless encampment at 45th and Grant. Neighbors there not wanting to show their face on camera, but say a storm drain there is also being used as shelter. What do you see?
They just go inside there, they just pop that lid and they go inside, spend the night right there. In the morning they come out and I guess they have beds over there and everything.
It's pretty complex. How long has this been going on?
Oh man, I don't know. It's been quite a while though.
You feel like the city does anything?
They come and clean, but it's not just that, they like I said, they clean one side, they move to the other side, and then they go back. There's no point of them to come if they're not gonna do anything else,
A spokesperson for the mayor's office sending us a message saying this is just tragic, adding that it's kind of a tough challenge that Mayor Bass has been facing, that the city has been facing for decades. Of course, that is from the mayor's office, but tonight, again, this active cleanup continues, and we don't exactly know where that woman was walked off to, but it didn't seem like we didn't see any noticeable help offered to her. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Matthew, is there outrage? Is there resignation? Is there frustration? It seems like, if I was the mayor, I was a city council person, I'd be right there on the scene. Nothing.
I agree 100%. And you know what? The outrage that I've seen is on social media. We posted that story on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram. It's got hundreds of thousands of views since last night.
Yeah.
And you can tell that people are outraged online, but we're not really sensing that even out in the community. There's no one out here watching this or wondering what's going on. It just seems like this has been going on for so long that in these neighborhoods, people just kind of accept it.
Right.
And,
yeah, it's unbelievable. We've been doing this homeless story for a long time, and I hate to say it, but I almost feel that it's too big to solve. I hope I'm wrong. I know the mayor would say I'm wrong. I know she'd point to the declines in homelessness in her administration, but it's like one step forward, 2 steps backward,
Yeah, I think a lot of us kind of feel helpless. You drive around the city, you see situations like this, someone so desperate that they're living in a storm drain. You couldn't help but feel bad for whatever situation led to that. Mental health, everything that we talk about. But again, this is just one example. We saw another example today of someone else living in a storm drain. This is a massive citywide problem.
43,000 homeless. Matthew, I know you're going to stay on this story. Thank you. All right, a much different topic. We look out on the San Fernando Valley, the twinkling lights, sunset, and Marquina Brown's here with our first look at weather. Marquina.
I am. Good evening. Yeah, it's a good looking night out there for sure. as we enjoy a mainly clear sky. We've got temperatures in the 60s and 70s, some mild numbers out there as well. Look at the 78 degrees right now for the folks in Glendora. You go to LA, you're at 63. We've got 68 in Whittier. Anaheim, 72, upper 60s right there, and Chino and Ontario at 69 degrees as well. Where will we bottom out tonight? Not too bad. Numbers will be mainly in the 50s. We've got some upper 50s out there. Not bad for the folks in Ontario tonight. You'll get down to 59 degrees. We've got 55 for a low for the folks in Woodland Hills, while Santa Clarita will see 55. Palmdale will be in the low 50s. LAX at 58 degrees when it's all said and done tonight. And the folks in Torrance will be in the upper 50s. Again, this is how LA will do temperature-wise as we go through the night, and that is really not much. Numbers are really going to stay stable here for the most part. By 10 o'clock, we're looking at low 60s, and that is where we'll stay even as we head towards the early morning hours. So here is what you need to know. We've got a slight warming trend on the way. Not a hot warming trend, but it's going to be warmer. Steady pattern will happen through the weekend, and then we've got not only much cooler weather in the forecast, but we could possibly see some rain. We'll talk about that, and I'll let you know when all of this will transpire. That's coming up in just a little bit. Until then, Phil, I'll send it back at you.
Thank you, Martina. Check back with you in a bit. New tonight, a daring escape in North Hills in the San Fernando Valley. Police say 2 young girls managed to break free and run for help after being kidnapped in broad daylight. Detectives looking for a suspect who remains at large. Fox 11's Laura Diaz has been on this story. Laura.
Yes, Phil, I can tell you this. We're learning more about that terrifying incident that happened over a week ago. A detective out of the Mission Division of the LAPD picks it up from there.
It's serious. This person is dangerous. He's a predator. He's targeting young females.
That's Detective Gutierrez warning girls to be on the lookout for this kidnapped suspect. Police describe him as a man in his early 20s, Hispanic, black hair and brown eyes with tattoos on both arms. A little over a week ago, 2 girls ages 11 and 16 are walking near Nordhoff and Sepulveda. That's when a man drives up in a dark green Honda Civic. He asks them if they want to ride. They say no, and he drives away. But the assailant didn't give up. He reportedly stalked them a block and a half, keeping them in his sights as they headed east on Nordhoff. Again, he offered him a ride. This time they said yes and gave him a destination. Instead, he speeded out of the neighborhood, past their destination, and locked the doors. They were terrified prisoners, now stopped in a remote cul-de-sac near Lamona Avenue and Sunburst Street.
Where he locked the car doors and began to expose himself and made a lewd request. The girl started screaming for help, at which point he accelerated while they were both still in the car. Both girls jumped out of the vehicle and tumbled onto the street and received some minor abrasions to their legs. And ultimately the suspect sped away and hadn't been seen since.
Well, one piece of good news, those young women, one of them was a young woman, the other a girl, did not give out their home address. So hopefully that suspect doesn't come back. And by the way, Phil, they are related. Laura Diaz reporting live, sending it back to the studio.
So a quick question. If this happened like a week ago and this guy, dangerous guy's out there, why are police just telling us about it now?
Well, the information was out there. What is new is the composite. And the detective told me, you know, I'm sort of old school. I believe in putting together the composite. They're truly hoping that somebody will come forward. They'll recognize him. We know that he has tattoos on both of his arms. He's a young guy. And hopefully somebody out there will recognize him and call authorities because he is a great danger to young girls.
Still questioning the delay, but thank you for that answer. A legal battle is heating up between California's Attorney General and the Riverside County Sheriff. An appeals court denies AG Rob Bonta's request to block Sheriff Chad Bianco's investigation into alleged election fraud involving more than 650,000 ballots. Bonta calls the probe, quote, a misguided abuse of power, while Bianco, a GOP candidate for governor, vows to continue his fact-finding mission. Cesar Chavez, of course, lauded as a leader of the Farm Workers Union for decades, his work taught in schools, his name placed on buildings. No more. Earlier today, LA Unified School Board members voted to rename 2 schools after accusations of sexual abuse involving Chavez. Fox 11's Nick Garcia tells us what happened.
Yes. Okay, that's 7 ayes.
Striking the name of Cesar Chavez from LAUSD buildings. Tuesday, the school board voted unanimously to recognize March 31st as Farm Workers Day instead of Cesar Chavez Day, and to begin the process of stripping the labor leader's name from 2 school campuses.
We know it was not just one person who led this movement, but it was a collective effort among thousands of farm workers and allies, other folks who stood up for the rights of farm workers and the rights of all people.
An elementary school in El Sereno and a high school campus in San Fernando are named for Chavez and will carry that name through the end of the school year.
Typically that can take years, but we're going to do it on an expedited timeline, just recognizing that the continued presence of that name on our schools is contrary to our values and could be very triggering.
It's been the talk around campus since last week when shocking sexual abuse allegations against Chavez came out. Many students supporting a name change.
I think that we should probably change the name due to how much stuff he did.
This student says it's all moving too quickly.
I honestly think it's a little unfair how he's getting accused of being a rapist.
The board also voted to support training for students and staff to protect against sexual abuse. As for selecting new names, the local communities surrounding the schools will have a voice, along with staff, students, and their families.
I would be excited if Dolores Huerta were the name, but I also think that there are many people from our community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley who could also be worthy of honoring via school names.
Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Up next here in the 9 o'clock hour, a major social media addiction trial apparently hits a deadlock in LA. Is a mistrial a possibility? And a weekend kayak trip turns deadly up north in Tuberculosis Bay. Close look at a dramatic rescue. Plus, yes, robots taking over the Whittier streets, but for a good cause. Our Rachel Aragon explains that one next. Tragedy in Tuberculosis Bay, California. A weekend kayak trip turns deadly. High winds, 3-foot swells overturned a couple's kayak Saturday, leaving 2 people in the water. This is in Sonoma County. A helicopter rescued a man and his dog, but the girlfriend who was pulled from the bay later died at a hospital. New tonight, if you happen to be visiting Whittier, or if you live in Whittier, you no doubt spotted some high-tech neighbors roaming the streets. But it's not a sci-fi movie. As Fox 11's Rachel Aragon reports, these small robots are hitting the pavement to improve public safety.
These robots, which go by Dax, by the way, are not just fun to interact with. City officials here in Whittier say they're also working hard to make the city a lot safer. Walking or driving along the streets of Whittier, you may have spotted one of these robots. But do you know what they're for? Is this your first time seeing it?
Yeah, that was really strange. I came out to it. I wanted to see what it was. I was going to scan it too. That's really cool.
They're not delivering food. They're collecting sidewalk data and capturing people's hearts.
Yeah, I love it. So I think it's great. They're cute, so.
While some of Whittier's sidewalks are smooth, other areas are a little uneven and uplifted. That's where these Dax bots come into play. The city says these robots move at walking speed down pedestrian paths, taking measurements and keeping human crews out of traffic.
Hi Dax, how you doing? You're watching me, I can see that.
In a video posted on social media, Whittier's mayor says the city has over 400 miles of sidewalks that they want to ensure are safe for everyone. At any time, up to 6 robots are in operation, evaluating sidewalk conditions and helping the city prioritize areas that need fixing.
To measure the floors to see if there's any cracks and stuff, which is great because with the big old trees, sometimes they're there, so they're great.
The city of Whittier says the robots are semi-autonomous and remotely piloted by a human operator. But it's not just Whittier deploying Dax to measure ADA compliance. The city of Irvine announced last August they were deploying these robots to inspect curb ramps and sidewalks in public streets. And city officials here in Whittier say no jobs were lost over the use of these robots. They also say we can expect to see these robots here in Whittier through the end of April. Reporting in Whittier, I'm Rachel Aragon. I'll send it back to you.
Weather is sponsored by American Career College.
Well, we have robotic cameras here in the studio, but fortunately, we still have humans doing the news and the weather, like meteorologist Markina Brown, who's irreplaceable.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Good evening, everybody. Beautiful day today, right? We're going to continue with that kind of weather. That stretch of really good weather will continue for the majority of the week before things start to change. You look on the outside right now and it is mainly clear right now as we have a gorgeous look at Santa Monica. But again, we're talking about change on the way, just like what we had last week, right? Can you believe it? We were in the upper 90s on March 17th and pretty much stayed there over several days. Do you remember that we started to cool down this weekend? And it has just been beautiful today. Our official high in LA was 82 degrees. The normal is 71, record high 94 degrees. We did not do that today, of course. Good thing after starting out at 60 degrees. So as we take a look at the futurecast, this is what I want to point out mainly for the coastal areas, and that is the fact that we are going to get some coastal fog developing here late tonight into early tomorrow morning. With that, we are going to, along with the fog, you have to watch out for the visibility, of course, but what you'll notice tomorrow is that you'll have a cooler start to the day. It's going to be cooler even by afternoon because the temperatures aren't going to be able to rise with that fog around. So as it sticks and stays through about 8 or 9 o'clock tomorrow before it starts to lift, it'll hold the temperatures down. We won't be able to get as warm along the coast tomorrow, but still end up really nice afternoon, I think. So just so you know. So what's up with this area of high pressure? Well, it is going to stick around, and that's why we are going to keep temperatures stable over the next few days, because it is going to pretty much stay close enough to do that. And with that, we are talking about highs that will continue to be above average, maybe a few degrees warmer on tomorrow compared to what we see the next day. But the point is that it isn't going to get scorching hot. It's not going to be another scorcher, but just know that things are going to warm up slightly over the next couple of days. So 85 degrees tomorrow for Woodland Hills, 84 for Pasadena will turn into temperatures in the mid to upper 80s in those same locations as we again just have that area of high pressure kind of stick around. So just know that. Things will start to change though once this area of high pressure moves up and out. Do you see that? It moves to the east, no longer a part of our weather pattern. What will be a part of our weather pattern will be the area of low pressure here, areas of low pressure, I should say. And with that, we're talking about cooler air as we get into next week. In fact, so much so that I am forecasting the possibility for temperatures to fall right at normal, if not slightly below, with a small chance for rain as we head towards the end of our forecast period. So let's talk about the 7-day forecast, shall we? For tomorrow, LA and Orange County looking at lots of sunshine and 82 degrees, 84 as you get into Thursday, Friday. As I said, a gradual warm up, but then by the beginning of next work week, things start to change. The coast, again, starting the day with the fog, so cooler, and 72 tomorrow. You're up to 75 as we get into Thursday, Friday, 76. But then by the beginning of next work week, look at those temperatures. Look at the clouds. That is a big change for us. So get ready for that as we head towards the beginning of next work week. And then finally, we take you to the valleys and the Inland Empire. Tomorrow for you, lots of sunshine. 85 degrees. You're in the upper 80s, though, as we get into Thursday and Friday. Maybe some 90s just in time for the weekend. And then we start to see a change as high pressure moves out. And we get cooler, in fact, noticeably cooler. By the time we get to Tuesday, we could see temperatures as cool as 72 degrees. So that's right at average, if not slightly below. That is a look at what we're doing, Phil. I'll send it back to you.
We'll take it here. Thank you. Coming up, the war with Iran escalates as U.S. troops deploy and missiles hit Tel Aviv. The latest next. Tonight, that high-stakes social media addiction trial we've been reporting on in downtown Los Angeles is at a standstill. After 8 days, jurors are deadlocked over the issue over whether Instagram and YouTube are liable for a young woman's social media addiction and decline, a term experts say still lacks a formal medical definition. And there's a juror set to travel on Thursday, which is a complicating factor. The judge is apparently pushing for a verdict, but a mistrial could be declared as early as tomorrow. Meantime, a jury in New Mexico had apparently no problem reaching a verdict in a very similar trial. Jurors found that Meta violated consumer protection laws by misleading people about the safety of apps like Facebook and Instagram. The company ordered to pay $375 million. Meta says it disagreed with the verdict, plans to appeal. A local influencer accused of using dating apps to target and rob the wealthy is headed to trial. 28-year-old Adva Levy, known as Mia Ventura, faces 6 felonies for allegedly stealing from homes in Beverly Hills and West Hollywood. She's pleaded not guilty. If convicted, she's looking at 11 years.
This is Ed Lascos. We are live, the Mid-Wilshire area. More reaction coming in this late hour about that big gubernatorial debate that never took place. Stand by for the latest.
Plus, that deadly crash at LaGuardia, the NTSB finds problems with the fire truck's warning system. We'll have the details next.
Live across SoCal. Is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Now at 9:30, a major gubernatorial debate that was scheduled for.
All as some of the candidates have been saying, giving in to the political pressure. Let's watch.
It was cancelled. It was cancelled within 24 hours of the debate happening. And if you actually look at why this happened, it was cancelled by the Democrats in the state legislature.
From the Republican leading in the polls to one of the four candidates who was supposed to be left out of the debate.
We had to push back. We had to push back against this idea that you could rig the formula.
It's all the stinging criticism to the debate that never took place. Unlike this first gubernatorial debate last month, where all candidates were invited, this latest one would only have featured 6 candidates picked by USC for their polling and their fundraising, leaving 4 candidates, the candidates of color, off the debate, like the former LA mayor.
They canceled this debate because they realized it just didn't pass the smell test for a lot of people.
The smell test, as he says, the mounting criticism, labeling the debate as biased. At first, USC doubled down on its selection criteria, but then, just hours before the 6 candidates were to take center stage, USC called it all off, saying, quote, "We recognize that concerns about the selection criteria have created a significant distraction from the issues that matter to voters."
To get their insider cronies in the state legislature to write a letter complaining to USC, and then for USC to cave to that political pressure. The whole thing is a total shambles.
And now live back and forth they go. He is blaming the Democrats, saying it makes sense that you've got a Republican leading the polls, and all of a sudden the Democrats get together. They cancel the debate with their political pressure from Sacramento. And then you have the Democrats, like the former mayor, who says it was really unfair. It had to be called off. It was biased. So now we look forward to the next debate scheduled next month, Pomona area. And as the former mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa, was telling me tonight, the hope is that all the candidates will be invited to that one, be allowed on center stage despite where they are with their fundraising, where they're at in the polls. So Phil, will have to see how all that shakes out. But this big debate that was supposed to take place tonight, they never even made it to center stage.
Yeah, I guess, and USC literally waited till like the last possible second. But I mean, if Hilton wasn't in the debate, he probably would have been complaining just as loudly as some of the other ones, right? So it's kind of one of those things where you can't make everybody happy unless you just make the decision to include everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny they use the terms, rigged. I heard that going around, and you're right. If you're one of the candidates who's left out, you're saying it's rigged. But if you're one of the candidates who's lucky enough to be in the debate, you're going to say it's not right, but you're still going to take part in the debate. I suppose that's the political world we live in. But it is getting dicey. You think about it, we're just a couple of weeks away, 6 weeks, I think, until the mail-in ballots go out. So it's getting down to the wire, and you still have a large number, as you know, of the voters out there who are undecided. That's why these debates are just so important for the candidates to get out there and try to win support from a lot of these folks.
They don't even know there's an election. So you mentioned the next one in Pomona. When do they announce who's in that?
I think, as I've been talking to some of the folks involved with the campaigns, that is coming up in the next week or so. A couple of weeks, they're saying they're all expecting, when you talk to the folks like Mr. Villaraigosa, he said, yeah, I expect to be there. We all expect to be there. We'll have to see, because we haven't heard anything yet concrete about exactly who's going to be invited. But you think about it, you got to think after this big controversy, the big brouhaha with USC, you would think the folks dealing with the Pomona situation and the network that's involved there is going to say, we can't make the same situation happen again.
What was the big deal with USC? Throw a few more mics and podiums on the stage. I mean, it seems like an arbitrary decision.
I suppose, but it's interesting. Right. But in the beginning, remember, they were standing by their decision and the criteria they used, saying it makes sense. And then all of a sudden they did, I use the word cave. They really just caved in the last 24 hours.
All right, Ed, thank you. Appreciate it. Well, you saw it first on Fox 11 last night, a shocker, and it generated a major reaction. As you might imagine, we're talking about a story that Matthew Seedorf did of a woman living in the storm drains in South LA. A lot of calls to the city, to sanitation crews, and they did finally come out to help. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez picks it up from there.
What's your name? Trying to help a woman hiding in a storm drain, the same woman you saw on Fox 11. Living in a hot drain packed with trash and smelling of human waste.
I gotta get back.
She's been living in the storm drain for quite some time, according to Juan Naula, who spends his days trying to clean up the neighborhood around South Grand and 88th Street.
She's still there. The trash is there. I saw another person living over there.
People living everywhere around here, in tents and RVs, even a boat. One woman sets herself up on boulders next to the freeway. A man against a sidewall on the other side. Cables routing electricity run down the street for blocks. Police cars drive by the encampments, checking things out. People say everything's fine. Police drive on. A street sweeper moves the dust. Parking enforcement deals with abandoned vehicles. But people say off camera, they're on their own. A woman talking to herself when she comes out of the drain is nothing unique.
Went into the sewer. She was never in the sewer. Oh my God, that's so bad. That's so bad.
The woman is chasing people, getting video of her with their cell phones, but goes back into the drain where we try talking to her. Talk to me, hon. What's going on? Hard to make out, but something about she has new clothes and shows her friends.
My clothes I bought on Chavez with like $1,000, like $400, and that's all my stuff I bought.
How many people are living down there with you?
I don't know. Some guy walked out.
There's another guy? If I found you a place to stay, would you go?
Yep. Sure would.
You would?
Yep.
No?
I guess I would.
Those words are very clear. After many calls to city officials, what you see is, yes, LAPD, the fire department, sanitation, quite a few crews out here. Eventually she comes out. Firefighters quickly move in to block the manhole cover. As she walks past us, she is mumbling.
I'll go home.
Hard to make out what she was mumbling, but I did see people from the city trying to follow her, offer her some help. In the meantime, what's happening here is you see this sanitation here calling this a hot zone. They actually have to go in there, clean the place where she was living out, and then secure that manhole with a new one in such a way that it doesn't get stolen like the last one, and she just comes back again. In South Los Angeles, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
Tonight, the conflict with Iran intensifies as missiles strike near Tel Aviv, and Hezbollah fire claims its first victim in Israel. While President Trump is saying that talks are underway to end the war, Tehran is denying that.
I think this thing's going to be settled very soon.
We negotiate with bombs, and so we're keeping our hand on that throttle.
In response, the U.S. is deploying 1,000 troops as the UN weighs military force itself to keep global oil lanes open. And an update here in L.A. County, regular gas is an average of $5.93 a gallon, the highest since October of 23. The OC right behind it. Nationwide, the average closing in on $4 a gallon. But a bigger hit at the diesel pump, where the California and L.A. average has topped $7 a gallon. Diesel, of course, powers trucks delivering all of our groceries, electronics. Experts warn these costs will be passed directly to consumers. And today marks day 2 of ICE deployment to more than a dozen airports around the country, not here in Southern California as far as we know, in an effort to help speed up those TSA lines, as many TSA workers have called out sick or just quit. Department of Homeland Security says more than 450 TSA officers have left their jobs since the start of the partial shutdown, while more than 3,000 called out sick yesterday alone. Now, the ICE officers haven't been deployed to LAX, and there is still no resolution on the funding battle that is causing this problem. Meantime, former Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin is now officially the new Secretary of Homeland Security, sworn into office earlier today at the White House. He's replacing Kristi Noem, who faced a lot of criticism over the department's tactics during immigration enforcement operations. He received a bit of pushback from Democrats and some fellow Republicans during his confirmation hearings, but was ultimately confirmed. He says he's spoken to some of the DHS employees.
These employees have been there for 30 days without pay. And if you need anything to know their dedication to show up and still protect the homeland that you and I enjoy and the freedoms that we're experiencing, they're working with for free because of political politics.
Oklahoma's governor has appointed energy exec Alan Armstrong to serve in the U.S. Senate through the end of the year to finish Mullin's term. Tonight, investigators examining evidence linked to that deadly crash at LaGuardia Airport Sunday night. According to the NTSB, the fire truck involved in that collision did not have a working transponder that could have prevented the collision by issuing a warning. Fox's Caroline Elliott reports.
NTSB investigators are now looking at the final moments before a deadly plane crash at LaGuardia Airport Sunday night. Investigators recovered the black box and cockpit recorder from the plane, and the data shows the controller gave clearance for the fire truck to cross the runway.
Truck 1 company, cross 4 Delta.
But as the Air Canada plane was landing, the controller frantically told the truck to stop 9 seconds before the crash happened.
And at 4 seconds, the tower again instructed Truck 1 to stop. At 0 seconds, the recording ended.
According to NTSB, the fire truck did not hear the warning alarm because it did not have a working transponder.
We do know that there were other vehicles behind Truck 1 which did not begin to cross the runway. We have no indication there were transponders on any of the trucks. But there are transponders on other trucks at other airports.
The next phase of this investigation is interviewing the air traffic controllers who were inside the tower at the time and the firefighters who were inside the truck.
We do have logs, but there's also conflicting information. Our aviation system is incredibly safe because there are multiple layers of defense built in to prevent an accident. So when something goes wrong, that means many things went wrong.
As the investigation continues, debris from the plane is still covering the runway, and we're told it will likely stay closed until Friday. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
New at 9, tuberculosis cases are climbing in LA County, reaching a 10-year high. New data shows 554 cases reported last year, a 3.4% jump. Health officials are urging early testing as landmarks across the globe shine red tonight for World TB Day. While the day marks the discovery of the bacterium way back in 1882, the fight against this airborne disease is far from over. Well, the World Cup is coming to LA, of course. Up next, we'll show you how to get free tickets to see the actual World Cup trophy. Plus, opening day, the Dodgers almost here, and famed artist Robert Vargas is celebrating with a huge new mural. We'll see the stunning tribute to the team's Japanese superstars next.
And our weather roller coaster continues. We are going to head up, over the next couple of days, but then we head down, and I mean down so far, we should include rain in the forecast possibly as well. I'll let you know when you should expect that coming up.
Thank you, Marquina. But first, let's head to Las Vegas. Wow. This is a live look at the spectacular Bellagio Conservatory and Botanical Gardens from one of our Earth cams. The theme right now, Springtime Symphony, Music in Motion. All right, we're just a couple of days away from opening day at Dodger Stadium, and famed artist Robert Vargas is ringing in the new season as only he can with a brand new mural. This one is huge. It's in Torrance. It features the team's Japanese superstars. Fox 11's Haley Winslow is there.
With a drum roll and shout out to his hero.
I love you, Mom.
The big reveal.
One! Samurai
Stretching 140 feet down the side of the Torrance Doubletree Hotel, local LA legend Robert Vargas's latest masterpiece, a mural of Dodgers Japanese superstars Shohei Ohtani, Roku Sasaki, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, larger than life. And it comes to life. Scan the QR code and step up to the plate, facing Japan's pitching powerhouse.
Strike one. Strike two. Strike three. And the Dodgers win again.
A hopeful preview of what fans dream of again this season.
This is literally the three-peat.
Three-peat!
Yeah. I'm painting it into existence.
Yes!
Superstitious or not, Vargas's Dodgers murals seem to be working for our back-to-back world champs. Last season, a tribute to Fernando Valenzuela, and the season before, an interactive Ohtani mural in Little Tokyo. And his work stretches far beyond LA to Ohtani's hometown, Oshu, Japan, recently named a friendship city to Torrance and home to one of the largest Japanese communities in the U.S.
More than just ball players, they're ambassadors of culture.
Top of their game, with fans rallied behind them, much like Vargas.
All of these people. This is my favorite part. They're all colors in my palette, and they're all in that mural.
Today, becoming an ambassador of his own.
The key to the city.
Don't think any Padres or Giants fans will be staying here anytime soon, but plenty of Dodgers already inside gearing up for opening day on Thursday. And hey, if you've ever wanted to face these legends, this is your chance. You just scan the QR code and watch them fire a fast one flying off this mural masterpiece. Robert Vargas already has other projects in the works, including a Dolores Huertas masterpiece that he's going to be doing right after this one. Go Dodgers! Reporting in Torrance, I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
And as long as we're counting down, we're less than 80 days away from the FIFA World Cup coming here to Southern California, and you can get up close and personal with the actual World Cup trophy. It's making its stop at LA Live in downtown. It's part of a world tour. Among those on hand, Italian soccer legend and World Cup champ Alessandro Del Piero.
It's always a nice emotion to see the trophy again, and to be even more and more for the people that are gonna see him for the first time.
The World Cup begins June 11th in LA. On June 12th, the event continues tomorrow. It is free, but does require a ticket. If you want to attend, head to foxla.com. That's our website, and we will have a link to help you find those tickets. All right, Marquina Brown, soccer fan? Not a soccer fan?
Not a soccer fan.
All right.
But I, respect it.
Sure.
As I do a lot of sports, but no, I am not a fan. Thanks for the question, though, Phil. Let's talk about the weather on the outside. Remember last week when we had temperatures that were way hot, like in the mid to upper 90s? Since the 16th, 17th, we've been dealing with that. Then we started to cool down. This weekend was perfect. That will be the story for us as we head toward the next couple of days, albeit not as hot, but still above average. So today, our official high was 82 degrees in LA after starting out at 60 degrees for a low. The normal is 71, so well above that. The record high, 94 degrees. So as we take a look at Futurecast, the one thing that I want to point out here is that coastal folks should watch out for fog as we get into late tonight and into early tomorrow morning. You notice as we look at 2 o'clock in the morning, we see the fog really start to develop here, and it sticks around all the way through 8 or 9 o'clock before it slowly but surely starts to lift. So know that because of that fog, or at least the start of the day with fog, temperatures will be a little bit cooler by the afternoon for the coasts. As we take a look at what's going on with this area of high pressure, well, it's going to stick and stay. And because of that, temperatures are going to slowly warm as we head toward the next couple of days. We are not talking about temperatures in the mid to upper 90s like we did last week, but we are definitely going to see temperatures that are going to stay above average. In fact, let's talk about those numbers, shall we? Palmdale for tomorrow, you should expect a high around 87 degrees. We've got mid 80s in Woodland Hills, Santa Clarita at 85, LA 82. But then we go to Thursday and we see numbers that are warmer, not by a bunch, but slightly warmer than what we will see tomorrow. So 88 degrees for the folks in Santa Clarita, 88 for Woodland Hills. Pasadena looking at 85, and we're doing upper 80s for the folks in Ontario. So that area of high pressure moves up and out and makes way for an area of low pressure to come through. And with that, we are talking about a complete pattern change in our weather. And you'll see that as we head towards the beginning of next work week. So let's go there, shall we? LA and Orange County doing 82 degrees tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. Should be a really nice day. Then we're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 80s as we head toward the end of the week and into the weekend. But by next week, the beginning of next week, we're talking about a complete pattern shift because we're looking at much cooler temperatures and a small chance, just a small chance for rain. The coasts will see temperatures right around 72 degrees tomorrow. You get up into the mid to upper 70s by the end of the week, but then you're down to the low 70s as we get into Monday and Tuesday. So if you like the 80-degree stuff or the about normal temperature days, enjoy those before we head towards the beginning of next week. That's a look at what we're doing. Phil, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much. New at 9, Scooby-Doo fans. Get ready for a mystery-filled adventure, we're saying, at Universal Studios Hollywood. Universal Fan Fest nights will feature Scooby-Doo meets the Universal Monsters mystery on the backlot. Guests will be able to solve a thrilling whodunit with the gang involving classic monsters like Dracula and Frankenstein. We're talking about an event that runs for 12 nights starting in April, includes live-action fun, photo ops, and more. All right, over 24 LA shelter dogs are heading to the Windy City for a second chance at life. Story we brought you last night. We'll give you an update after the break. In Monrovia, 2 bear cubs are getting a second chance at a San Diego shelter that's designed specifically to help them. It's a San Diego Wildlife Center. And did you see that caregivers are wearing, I don't know where you get this, Amazon, like full bear suits to ensure that the 2-month-old cubs don't get used to humans. Apparently that gives them the best shot at returning to the wild. Now, their mother, you remember this was a bit of a controversy we told you about. Their mother was recently euthanized after being involved in 2 public safety incidents there in Monrovia. And a life-saving flight took off from Van Nuys early this morning as 100 dogs were flown to Chicago to find new homes. The emergency mission was designed to clear critical space in LA County shelters to make room for dogs confiscated from that massive hoarding seizure of more than 300 animals. Local shelters, of course, are always at a breaking point, so these pups are literally getting a second chance at life.
Well, so today, Paws Chicago is welcoming 41 dogs and puppies from LA County. They're getting beautiful. Look at this dog. Come on. Well, they've had a long day, so they flew flew out of Los Angeles this morning at about 5:30 a.m. Via Pause for Life Canine Rescue and Wings of Rescue. Our volunteers picked them up about an hour ago in Gary, Indiana, and drove them here to the medical center. And right now, they're all getting ready to have some dinner. They're going to get some nice soft bedding. They're probably going to get a nice new toy. And then tomorrow, our medical team will take a look at them, give them any vaccines that they might need, any medical care they need, their microchip, and get them ready to have their spay-neuter surgery.
Bye, Mom. Hi, Fifi. Come here. Oh, I know. I think she's just excited. You haven't eaten for probably so long. You want to get a weight on this baby? So cute. Hello, baby.
So these animals that are being part of the seizure that are coming into the LA County shelter system, they need to be in that system, and they are actually evidence, and so aren't able to be adopted currently. So the LA County shelter system really needed to get these animals that we took today out of that shelter so that they could free up space for those critical pups and dogs coming in. Today's rescue effort, we're so happy to be a part of it, but rescue never stops, and litters are unfortunately constantly being born. And so we are looking to rescue as many animals. Spring is always a very busy time in the shelter community, so keep an eye on that website and come stop by our adoption center and see if you can find a new pet.
Sounds like a plan. Finally tonight, yes, Pip Watch officially begins next week for Big Bear's favorite bald eagles. Yes, they're back. Jackie and Shadow, you remember them. They've apparently been pulling marathon shifts to protect their eggs. This is a live look at the nest right now. Friends of Big Bear Valley say the first signs of hatching could appear as early as March 31st. Check all the action live on their Nest Cam. Thanks for watching LA Live News tonight. Appreciate it. Our 10 p.m. newscast with Christine Devine just minutes away on Fox 11. Hope you check it out.
Uh huh.